The roar of 50,000 alien spectators filled the massive arena like thunder rolling across mountains. The Grand Coliseum of Vexor Prime was the largest fighting pit in the entire galaxy. Every species from 100 different star systems had gathered here today. They came to watch blood. They came to watch death. Most importantly, they came to watch their undefeated champion destroy another foolish challenger. Gorthax the Destroyer stood in the center of the sandy arena floor. His massive body cast a shadow that stretched 20 feet across the ground. He was a Cronin, one of the most feared warrior species in known space. His skin was thick like stone and colored deep purple. 4 arms extended from his enormous torso, each one ending in fists the size of small boulders. His muscles rippled beneath his hide like steel cables wrapped around iron beams. He had fought in this arena for 15 years. He had killed over 300 opponents. Not a single being had ever made him bleed. The crowd chanted his name as he raised all 4 arms toward the sky. The sound shook the very foundations of the Colosseum. Wealthy merchants from distant planets had paid fortunes just to sit in the front rows. Powerful warlords had traveled weeks through hyperspace to witness this spectacle. Everyone wanted to see Gorthax add another kill to his legendary record. The announcer's voice boomed through massive speakers that surrounded the arena. He spoke in the common galactic tongue so all species could understand. He introduced Gorthax with 100 different titles. The Unbreakable, the Mountain That Walks, the Ender of Worlds. Each title brought louder cheers from the crowd. Then came the introduction of the challenger. The announcer's voice carried a hint of amusement as he spoke. A human. A simple human from a small blue planet called Earth. The crowd erupted in laughter. Humans were known throughout the galaxy as soft creatures. They had no natural armor. They had no claws or fangs. They could not survive in extreme temperatures. They needed to breathe constantly. They were weak compared to almost every other intelligent species. The massive gates on the opposite side of the arena slowly opened. The crowd grew quiet with curiosity. They wanted to see what kind of human was foolish enough to challenge their champion. Some spectators made jokes about how quickly this fight would end. Others placed bets on how many seconds the human would survive. The longest bet was 2 minutes. Most expected less than 30 seconds. A figure walked out of the darkness of the gate. He was alone. He carried no weapons. He wore simple shorts and nothing else. His skin was pale compared to the colorful aliens watching him. His body was smaller than Gorthax by a huge amount. The Cronin champion stood 12 feet tall and weighed over 2,000 pounds. The human was barely 6 feet and perhaps 200 pounds. But there was something different about this human. His body was covered in lean muscle that moved like water beneath his skin. His eyes scanned the arena with complete calmness. There was no fear in those eyes. There was no panic or desperation. He walked toward the center of the arena like he was taking a casual stroll through a park. His breathing was slow and controlled. His heartbeat remained steady. The crowd fell into confused silence. They had seen many challengers enter this arena. Most of them trembled with fear. Some of them cried or begged for mercy before the fight even started. This human showed none of those reactions. He simply stood there and looked at the massive Cronin champion with what appeared to be mild interest. Gorthax laughed. The sound was deep and terrible, like rocks grinding together. He flexed all 4 arms and made his muscles bulge to impossible sizes. He beat his chest with enough force to crack ordinary stone. He wanted to intimidate this tiny creature. He wanted to see fear before he crushed this human into paste. The human tilted his head slightly. He rolled his shoulders once. He bounced lightly on his feet a few times. Then he smiled. The bell rang to signal the start of the fight. Gorthax charged forward like a freight train made of muscle and rage. His 4 arms swung in wide arcs that could crush vehicles. His feet pounded the arena floor hard enough to create small craters. The crowd screamed with excitement. They expected to see the human splattered across the sand within seconds. The human moved. He did not run away. He ran toward the charging monster. At the last possible moment, he dropped into a slide that took him between the Cronin's massive legs. Gorthax's fists smashed into empty air where the human had been standing a fraction of a second earlier. Before the champion could turn around, the human had already spun to his feet and delivered a powerful kick to the back of Gorthax's knee. The crowd gasped. The blow actually made the Cronin stumble. It was just a small stumble. But Gorthax had never stumbled before. Not once in 15 years of fighting. The champion roared with anger and spun around. He threw a punch with his lower right arm. The human ducked under it. Another punch came from the upper left arm. The human twisted his body and let it pass by his face close enough to feel the wind. 2 more punches followed in rapid succession. The human avoided both of them with movements that seemed almost lazy. Gorthax grew more furious. He began throwing combinations of punches and grabs with all 4 arms at once. His attacks were fast enough to catch most opponents 10 times over. But the human was never where the attacks landed. He weaved and dodged and slipped through the storm of violence like smoke passing through fingers. The crowd had gone completely silent. They could not understand what they were seeing. This small, soft creature was making their undefeated champion look foolish. Some spectators rubbed their eyes. Others checked their viewing screens to make sure they were not malfunctioning. This was impossible. Humans were supposed to be weak. 5 minutes passed, then 10, then 15. Gorthax was breathing heavily now. Sweat poured from his stone-like skin. His movements were becoming slower. His attacks were becoming sloppier. He had never needed to fight for this long before. His opponents usually died within the first minute. The human was not even breathing hard. His body moved with perfect efficiency. Every dodge used the minimum amount of energy required. Every step was placed with exact precision. He was not just avoiding attacks. He was studying his opponent. He was learning every pattern and every weakness. Then, the human went on the offensive. His first real punch landed on Gorthax's ribs with a sound like a thunderclap. The Cronin's eyes went wide with shock. Pain. Actual pain. He had not felt that sensation in over a decade. Before he could react, another punch landed on his stomach, then another on his side. Then 3 more in rapid succession targeting the same spot on his ribs. The human was not hitting random locations. He was attacking the same points over and over again. He was finding the small gaps in the Cronin's natural armor. He was targeting nerve clusters and pressure points that most species did not even know existed. Each strike was delivered with perfect technique. Each impact carried far more force than should be possible from such a small body. Gorthax tried to grab the human with all 4 arms at once. The human jumped straight up and used one of those arms as a platform to launch himself higher. His knee connected with the Cronin's chin with devastating force. Gorthax stumbled backward. For the first time in 15 years, he tasted blood in his own mouth. The crowd erupted into chaos. Spectators stood from their seats in disbelief. Some threw their betting chips in the air. Others screamed in denial. This could not be happening. Their champion could not be losing to a human. But the human was not finished. He landed gracefully and immediately launched into another series of attacks. His fists and feet became blurs of motion. Each strike found its mark with surgical accuracy. He attacked the same weakened spots on the Cronin's armor until cracks began to form in that supposedly unbreakable hide. Gorthax threw wild punches, driven by desperation and rage. None of them connected. The human read his movements like words on a page. He anticipated every attack before it even began. His body responded with reflexes that seemed to bend the laws of physics. 20 minutes into the fight, Gorthax fell to one knee. His breathing came in ragged gasps. His forearms hung heavy at his sides. His stone skin was covered in cracks and bruises. His eyes showed something that 50,000 spectators had never seen before: fear. The human stood before him without a single mark on his body. His breathing was slightly elevated but still controlled. His eyes held no hatred or malice. There was only calm determination and perhaps a hint of respect for his opponent. The Cronin champion tried to rise. His legs shook beneath his massive weight. He had never been pushed this far. He had never known what it felt like to be the weaker fighter. Pride would not let him surrender. He raised his forearms one final time and prepared to throw everything he had left into one last desperate attack. The human moved faster than any eye could follow. His fist connected with the exact center of Gorthax's chest. The strike carried the accumulated knowledge of thousands of years of human martial arts. It combined physics and biology and pure determination into a single moment of perfect violence. The impact sent a shockwave through the Cronin's body that made his internal organs shudder. Gorthax the Destroyer fell backward like a mountain collapsing. His massive body hit the arena floor with enough force to create a crater in the sand. He did not get up. His forearms lay spread out at his sides. His chest rose and fell with unconscious breathing. He was alive, but completely defeated. The arena fell into absolute silence. 50,000 beings from across the galaxy sat in stunned disbelief. Their undefeated champion lay unconscious on the ground. A human stood over him without a scratch. The human looked up at the crowd. He raised one hand toward the sky, not in triumph or celebration. It was a simple acknowledgement of the moment. His face remained calm and composed. Then the impossible happened. One spectator began to clap. Then another. Then 10 more. Then 100. The applause spread through the Colosseum like wildfire. Soon all 50,000 spectators were on their feet. They cheered not for their fallen champion, but for the small, soft creature who had done what everyone thought was impossible. The announcer's voice struggled to be heard over the roar of the crowd. He declared the human the winner by knockout. He asked for the human's name so it could be recorded in the arena's history. The human looked up at the announcer's booth. He spoke 3 words in a voice that carried across the entire arena. Marcus from Earth. The crowd repeated his name. They chanted it like they had once chanted for Gorthax. Marcus, Marcus. The name echoed off the walls and rose toward the stars. On this day, the galaxy learned a valuable lesson. They learned that humans were not weak. They were simply different. They did not rely on natural armor or massive size. They relied on something far more dangerous. They relied on adaptation. They relied on technique. They relied on the burning determination that had turned their species from prey animals into the dominant life form of their planet. They never gave up. They never stopped learning. They took every disadvantage and found a way to turn it into strength. Marcus walked out of the arena the same way he had entered, calm, composed, ready for whatever challenge came next. Behind him, medical teams rushed to attend to the fallen champion. Around him, 50,000 aliens stared with new understanding in their eyes. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and the galaxy would never be the same again.